So I have found a quiet corner, quiet-ish corner. I'm still at Word on the street. It is so beautiful out here. There's so many people. I wanted to do a bit of a haul because your girl bought books. So remember what I said about the festival being super white and not having enough diversity? So I went to the other side of the festival and there was more. Not enough, but definitely more. I don't know how they divided the different sections, but it seems like on one side of the Harbourfront Centre there's more literary fiction. There's not a lot of like independent presses, not a lot of not a lot of comics, not a lot of graphic work, like just, it seems like that's on that side. But on this side we've got like lots of independent writers. I'm sitting right in front of the Francophone section, so there's like Francophonie everywhere. And I met some really cool queer comic artists and stuff. So I'm gonna show you some of the things that I bought and hopefully shout out a few creators. So okay, I also got this shirt, got books, because I was melting into a puddle of Injeri and it wasn't cute. So where should I start? Okay, so this is some of the stuff I got on side number one. All right, so in terms of the swag that I got from Articulation, I got this really nice book bag that features queer writing and content creation, and on the back it says, "Telling our stories, first to ourselves and then to each other and the world, is a revolutionary act," which is super true. I hope that you can hear me. I'm gonna get a little bit closer. And then I got the magazine, the Articulation magazine, and this is focusing on Black trans folks, so I'm looking forward to that. And I also got some postcards and bookmarks and stickers and such. So in here they very nicely packed my postcards with rainbow tape. Thank you very much. So I got these postcards, which is a cover. The artist is D. Mathieu Cassendo, and then got that postcard. So if you get postcards from me in the next little while, you'll know where I got them from. And then this one, which is so beautiful, I'm probably gonna frame this one. So this is Marsha P. Johnson. Marsha P. Johnson was the one who threw the brick that led to Stonewall, that then has led to Pride. So Marsha was a trans woman, and I feel like a lot of us in the queer community do not acknowledge the fact that our Pride parades that are now very, very corporatized, they really started from an act of resistance by a Black woman. And like many of our parades, like Carnival or Festival or things like that, they come out of communities of resistance. All right, the next thing that I got is Desert Messiah. And this is, these are 2 issues of the Desert Messiah comics. And these are, I believe, written and illustrated by Tishawn Dwyer, who's illustrator and designer. So he is a young Black man who I saw drawing on his tablet. So it was really cool to meet him. And I have a little bit of video from him, so you can see that right now. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm Tishawn Dwyer. I do a comic book called Desert Messiah. We're at Word on the Street 2019. Just taking a shirt off my comic book. It's an action adventure comic.
I think so too. I think you could probably see him get, like, if he comes up like 35, 40 points.
Right now I've got the first 2 issues. This is number 1.
Thanks. Welcome back. So that was to Sean. And then I got some cool buttons, one of which I'm going to put on right now. I was thinking a lot about BookNet Fest and the misgendering of panelists, so I've been looking out for buttons and stickers. So this one says they, them, which I'm obviously not going to be keeping because those are not the pronouns that I use, but I will be sending it to somebody. And then this is she, her. And so I got one for Tomi and one for me. So I'm going to put this on right now because I think that, you know, it's really important that that as cisgender folks, that we don't assume anything, and that we also don't encourage people to assume gender. So mine says she, her, so I will use that, and I will do my best whenever I go to conferences and things like that to just wear it so that it's a reminder to me to use my pronouns and not to make assumptions and not to encourage people to make assumptions based on what they see and the genders that they perceive us to have. So that's my tiny little act of solidarity. There will be more. And then I bought this, which is called Shout Out. This is it was described to me as a collection of comic stories about a diverse cast of queer superheroes in Toronto. So most importantly, this is why I bought it. Because Nalo Hopkinson blurbed it, and I trust anything that Nalo puts her name on, and that is the value of having great people blurb your stuff, because then it happens. So you get support. So just flipping through it, I see that there are many different illustrators that contributed to this this volume, and I'm looking forward, just a lot of really different styles of art. Can you see that? I'm really enjoying filming on my phone. I hope it comes out good. And then I got this pin because I've decided that I'm now into pins. And this pin is the symbol for the black superhero in this book. So the pin, I think, yeah, this person has a little megaphone, and the pin is of a megaphone. So I thought I would get that as well. So that. The publisher for this is Toronto, tocomics.com. I have to learn a little bit more about tocomics.com, but I understand that they support, you know, comics from Toronto, but I don't know anything more than that. So really excited about reading that. Okay, so that is one bag. And then I got another tote bag. Stories for the futures we need, and that really spoke to me because, as you know, I believe in imagining responsibly, and this boom, the chair is falling, this reminded me of that. So I got that tote bag from Augur. So Augur magazine is it's a, I want to describe it correctly. Let's see here. Is it here? So Augur is a magazine. It's funded by the Ontario Arts Council, and it publishes collections of short speculative works. And I asked them specifically if they had any black writers contributing to this collection, and they said they did. So in Augur 1.1, they've got a story by, who was it here? Daniel Maluka, and the story is called Unwashed Reused. So I'm looking forward to reading that. And then in their 1.3 edition, they've got a story by Eden Royce, One If by the Sea. Yeah, One If by the Sea. So I'm looking forward to reading that. And the first line is, "You want your little girl back or not?" So we will see what that's about. So then, for those of you who live in Toronto or who want to come visit me and Tommy, we show Harry Potter in a large concert hall with an orchestra in the background, playing the Harry Potter music. So it's a Toronto Symphony Orchestra. So this year, so from October 31st to November 2nd, you can get tickets to see Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince in concert. And then in May, they've got the first Deathly Hallows Part 1. So I'd never actually seen the performance before, but I got this to remind myself that it is something that I've wanted to see. I see some people I know, so I'm like looking over the camera, hoping to catch their eye. Okay, I also got, what else? All the things. I was given some really nice postcards, and I hope to use these postcards when I email people or send things out to winners of things, to just spread the bookish love. I am a sweaty woman. Okay, then I went to another story bookstore, and that was a treat because they really, right now, I think they're really getting it in terms of not only having inclusive books, but putting those inclusive books front and center and not just highlighting them as one or two books that you can or should get. Okay. So many people I know here. Okay, so this one is one that I've wanted for a while, but I'm actually gonna try and wean myself off of Amazon. I've been reminded so many times of how important it is to support local bookstores, and that's something that I have to get better at. So this is The Dark Fantastic, and first of all, just take in the cover because it's absolutely gorgeous. Race and the Imagination from Harry Potter to the Hunger Games. So I think this is one of the books I should read for Nonfiction November, along with Afrofuturism 2.0 by Ronaldo Anderson. This was blurbed by Jacqueline Woodson, Tananarive Due, Christina Sharp, and Philip Nell. And it was published in, I believe, 2018, and it obviously talks about the evolution, hopefully, of the fantastical as we've become, you know, more into the age of diversity and equity in the speculative arts. So this is published by New York University. It's a 2019 publication. So I'm looking forward to this. Then I got My Life as an Ice Cream Sandwich by E.B. Zaboy. I didn't even know that this existed. Look at that back cover. And so this is a story about a little girl her name is Ebony Grace Norfleet from Huntsville, Alabama. She flies to Harlem where she's going to stay with her father, and ever since she was a kid, her grandfather would tell her stories about Star Trek and Star Wars, and so she grew up with this love for space and science fiction. So even though she's having a hard time making new friends in her new neighborhood, she's got this imaginary world that she can draw from. So My Life as an Ice Cream Sandwich. I'm looking forward to that. And then I got three children's books that are, you know, in sort of speculative, sort of science fiction-y stuff. So this one is called What If? Written by Samantha Berger and illustrated by Mike Curto. I don't think that they may be own voices, but I'm not sure. So this is about a little girl who uses her imagination to create things. So just looking at one picture, it's really nice. Do you know, when I grew up, there was a story there's a televised program called Ludwig the Egg or Simon. Anyway, I'll see if I can find a little clip, but it was this little boy, this little white boy, who would draw things and then they would come true. Like the song was, well, you know, my name is Simon and the things I draw come true, right? And so it was this story about this like little white boy who would draw things, and whatever was in his imagination would become real. So I love the idea that there's potentially a story about a black girl doing the same thing. This is written by Nathan Byron and illustrated by Dapo Adeola, and it's called Rocket Says Look Up. And hi, I like your dress. This is also Reading Beauty by Deborah Underwood and illustrated by Meg Hunt. And Reading Beauty, I think, is part of a series of stories that are sort of rewriting Disney princesses. So I think there's one called Technological Cinderella or something like that. So I guess instead of Sleeping Beauty, it's Reading Beauty. And then the last book is not within my reading genre, but yay! But it is a book that was written by a dear friend of mine who has written a number of children's books dealing with, you know, the experience of Black Canadian young people. And she's a teacher, and she's also written a number of books that are around like music history, because she's a music teacher. And her name is Nadia Hahn, and she just came out with A Little Miss Lou. And A Little Miss Lou tells a story of Louise Bennett. So Louise Bennett, Miss Lou, if you're not familiar with her, you should be. So she is a very famous folk poet who passed away. So she was a very famous Jamaican folk poet, and her works really speak for certain parts of the Jamaican culture. And Nadia also is, not only is she a teacher and a children's book writer, but she is also a musician. So she was in a folk choir, a Jamaican folk song choir. She also is in a reggae band. She plays piano and saxophone. She writes music and poetry, and she draws and paints. She's amazing. Like when we were in high school together, she started Black Ice, which was the first film festival featuring like Black Canadian film. And so she's just like totally awesome. So this is her latest book, and even though it's not science fiction or fantasy or Afrofuturism, it definitely is one that I would support. So as the holidays come around, if you're looking for books for children, this is definitely one that you can look for. Okay. I think that's everything. I don't think there's anything else that I bought. Yes, there's just one more thing, and then I'm gonna be done, because I think this vlog is like 8 hours long. This is Black Writers Matter. This is an edition, a collection of short creative nonfiction works, and you will shortly see a clip of Whitney French, who spoke on a panel, and Whitney will talk a little bit more about this book, but Whitney is amazing. She started an initiative called Writing While Black, which involved like shut up and write sessions, and also mentorship and support for young Black, in particular queer writers in Ontario. Whitney is absolutely amazing. She participates in the Solar Powered Afrofuturism Book Club, and she's just like smart and cute and just a lovely human being. So I think I'm going to stop now, because I have to go and do things that are not bookish and not as fun as this. Thank you very much for watching this vlog. I hope that you've had a wonderful weekend and that it's been just as beautiful and warm where you are, and I will see you in my next video. Bye. Hi. I'm back home. It's been a great weekend. It continues to be, because it's technically not over. But Tomi and I are going to play a game of Quixo, and I will beat her. So that's going to be happening shortly. Right, Tomi?
Absolutely.
So yes, but earlier today I went onto YouTube, BookTube, and there were 2 live shows happening simultaneously. There was the Caribbean Readers, the Bashment Book Club with Sajid, Linnell, and Paige. And then there was also, I don't know what the name of their club is called, but Oshi reads, and I think it's a seat at the table. So Oshi reads, and then well, Melanin Eclectic, but the Bookish Wallflower or Wallflower. So they were talking about, their discussion was we don't just talk about books, and then the Bashment Book Club was talking about A Night in Havana. I think that's the name of the book. Anyway, it's just really nice to go onto YouTube and see people who I just saw a couple of weeks ago living their blessed lives and talking about stuff. So that was really nice. I will put some pictures up or something, but I'm going to have some wine and prepare for Tomi's devastating loss at Quixo. If you don't have Quixo, it's a really fun game. Okay, if I don't see you before the next video, thank you for spending time with me over the weekend, and I hope that you have a wonderful week.